Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dina and today is Friday, March 29th. It is the first day of the birthday sale for Stephanie Kyne, and I will be getting started on my piece for that sale in a few minutes. And I will show it to you after I've stitched on it a couple of days because I'll be using it for the first 2 days of the sale. The first day is to stitch with something that's an S, and I'm going to stitch on 12 days because the designer is Jim Shore. So there's the S. And then the second day is for jewel tones, and there are so many jewel tones in that piece that I'm going to stitch on it again on the 30th for the jewel tones. So when I finish that progress, I'll vlog for you. But today, in addition to telling you my plans for Stephanie's birthday sale, I have an update for you. As you know, I accepted Ginger Gerald's challenge to try to finish a large piece, and by large, he defined that as at least 100 by 100 stitches. Doesn't have to be full coverage, but you have to finish it before he finishes Henry. Well, I had decided that one of my pieces that I really wanted to finish this year, that's in my Stitch 9, was the closest to a finish, even though I had quite a bit left to stitch on it. But I accepted the challenge. And I have been stitching on it ever since. Every moment that I had in a busy week of volunteering in the community, I would grab that piece and work on it. Last night, I was so close to a finish, I decided I was going to go ahead and finish her. So this is Nantucket Rose. You've been seeing her on my channel since I started her August 1st of 2017. Now, I haven't worked on her, exclusively. It was in a SAL that we created on Facebook, the Nantucket Rose SAL, and that SAL is still ongoing. But I would like to share with you my finish. This is my Nantucket Rose. I think she's beautiful. There were only a few changes that I made, and I'll get you a little bit closer so you can see what that is. But I did finally figure out by reading the back stitching instructions that this white thing I couldn't figure out what it was is a shawl. So this is her lacy shawl, and you can see the lace pattern that's developed from the negative space in there. Isn't that beautiful? And I love the pink trim on her skirt. I hadn't even noticed that till I stitched it. But I wanted her shawl lace to really look fluffy and stand out like lace. And so I did an experiment. I got B5200 white, but I got it in number 8. This is a DMC. I don't know if it's going to be where you can see it, but anyway, I used it wherever the white was called for, and I'm so glad I did. I used one strand, and look how lovely that shawl looks. I'm very pleased with the outcome. So once again, here's my Nantucket Rose. So Gerald, I'll be getting a picture of this, and I will go back and review your instructions on everything you need in the email, and then I'll send this to you so I can participate in your challenge. And I'm very pleased that it turned out, that it actually motivated me to finish this piece sooner rather than later, because now that's another Stitch 9 piece I've finished, and that means that I have a WIP off my plate, so that's good. Thanks for letting me share her with you. Thanks for going along the journey with me as I stitched her. I know I've heard from several of you that she's one of your favorites of the WIPs that I'm working on right now, so I hope you'll find another favorite and that you'll continue visiting with me. So in the meantime, happy stitching. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina, and I'm so delighted that you're back visiting with me again. I am working on the birthday SAL for MsOhSewCrafty, Stephanie Kyne. And I started this SAL very late on the 29th because I finished my Nantucket Rose first. And I know that Stephanie would approve because she likes to get a finish as well. But I did put a few stitches in my first whip that was for the first day where you were to stitch on something that had a relationship with the letter S, either the designer's name or the name of your pattern or something of that nature. So I chose 12 days because my designer was Jim Shore, and Shore starts with an S. So this is the piece I chose to work on. And for day 2 of her SAL for yesterday, notice these jewel tones in here, how beautiful they are, that green and this beautiful red and these purples. I think Stephanie would like this color palette. Anyway, I decided to work on this piece for 2 days, so I didn't film until I had finished the second day. There was so little the first day anyway, that really would have been a waste of your time. So I want to show you my progress. When I last worked on this piece, I mentioned that I had worked upwards until I got to the point where it was placed for his beard and his head, and that's where I was going to concentrate the next time that I worked on this project, and that's what I did. So here's how far I've gotten. Now there's no back stitching in there yet, but even without it, look at that face. He's so cute. And I don't know if you can see it because I can't get it to focus well enough, but he has blue eyes, and his eyes are done 1/1, just the iris of the eye. So you have 3 of the little stitches of 1/1 stitches of blue, a bright blue, and then you have 1 of black just to make the pupil. And then of course the white around his eye is mostly half stitches because it's just on the 2 sides. But I think they're gorgeous. I think they turned out great, and I'm gonna try to remember that for future projects that have eyes that just have regular cross stitches for the eyes. I think I may try to do the 1/1 because they really do look great, especially close up, you can see. So I am tickled, tickled with the progress. So Stephanie, it's been great celebrating your birthday with you, and I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so today is the 31st. It is the 3rd day of Stephanie's birthday SAL. And this one is supposed to be a theme of something that's in nature. Either, let's see, I've got notes over here. The wonder of nature, plants, or animals. So for me, the wonder of nature that I'm gonna work on is snow. So I'm gonna work on a Kiss for Snowman. This is my last Stitch 9 piece. When I finish this, I will have finished my entire Stitch 9. I'm pretty excited about that. That's been a big motivator for me. So today is a Kiss for Snowman. And just so you have a starting point, since I'm vlogging a little differently during her birthday SAL, I'll try to do this every day if I can remember. Here is where we left off on this piece before. Don't know how much time I will have to stitch today, but whatever time I get will be spent on this piece. And I will, of course, come back and show you my progress and then talk about tomorrow with you. Hello, good evening, everyone. It is the end of the day, and on March 31st, and as promised, I've come back to show you my progress on Kiss for a Snowman that I was working on today for Stephanie's birthday SAL. I was also notified today that I was accepted into the School of Magical Stitches, and I read all the prompts and all for the homework and extra credit and whatnot. And so Stephanie, thanks, because I was able to use this piece for something that makes me happy. I had to stitch 500 stitches in it today. I actually stitched 1,046 stitches in it today because I originally started this just to stitch on it for the day for Stephanie's birthday. And then once I found out I was gonna also count it for the other, I just felt like I just needed to keep on stitching until the day was done. So this is where I got to. This piece is now fully from top to bottom over here, and I'm working my way over from top to bottom. It's been a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're stitching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today is April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. I hope nobody got a bad joke played on them today. But today I wanted to give you an update on what I've been working on. I've had a lovely day. First of all, I got up this morning and I looked at the homework for this week and was thrilled at how it fit into my hoped for plans. So let me share all that with you now. I had already made up my mind that I was going to stitch part of the day on Friends for the birthday SAL for Stephanie Kyne. The reason I was stitching on Friends is that today's prompt for her SAL was to do something that was fantastical or was in literature. And Raggedy Ann and Andy are featured in a number of books. So I did this piece because of the literature for them. So I knew I was going to stitch on this piece today for her birthday. But when I looked at the homework prompts, one of the prompts for homework was to do dark threads, and you actually had to stitch in the dark threads. And so if you'll notice here in this corner, the dark threads, I had stitched a few of these when I started this piece because I started it in this corner, but I had a whole lot left of those to do. So I went ahead and stitched in the dark browns, and I did 329 stitches for the to meet that prompt. You had to do at least 300. And then I realized that one of the extra credits, I've been reading up on those, trying to get familiar with it because I'm very late to this game. One of the extra credits is to turn back time, and it's to stitch on a piece that is in the 1990s or before. And this piece was published in 1990. Well, that prompt for extra credit, though, requires 500 stitches. And I can't count the first 329 I did for my homework. I have to do an additional 500. So I did. I did more than 500. I actually did 598. But I did it because I finally wound up getting to a really good stopping point over in here where one of the colors was finished. So here's where I am now that I've put in another 500 stitches. So there was another dark color all around here right next to what will be the Raggedy Andy doll. And then I did all of this stitching up in here as well. And hit my color. When I got to this line and finished it, the next bit of space is a different color. So that was a good place to stop, and I'm really pleased with the progress on it, and I'm just thrilled that I could hit Stephanie's birthday SAL and one of my homework prompts and an extra credit today. Yes, I did stitch that much today. So the other thing I want to share with you today is that tomorrow I will be working on Simply Love for the prompt for Stephanie's birthday SAL. And that is because tomorrow is the fancy day. and I will be doing Simply Love because it's in silk, and I consider that fancy floss. So that's what I'll be doing. And tomorrow, I hope to be able to come back and tell you what I did. I hope you're enjoying your stitching. If you're in the School of Magical Stitches, good luck. I hope you're doing great on your homework. Now I've got to figure out what I'm going to do for the other 2 prompts. Happy stitching, everybody. Good night. Hello, fellow floss tubers. Welcome back. This is Dina, and today is April the 2nd. And I have a couple of things to share with you today. First, I want to let you know that I got some happy mail. I was contacted a while back, a couple of weeks or so, by a lady from mybobbin.com. A couple of floss tubers have mentioned her in the past, but she contacted me and asked if I would review some of her products and her services and to let you all know what I thought. First of all, she let me pick what I wanted. She didn't just send me something to review that she picked for me. I enjoyed her website. Please give it a look. She has some of the most beautiful kits. There are patterns there and there are kits there. So I selected a pattern and I selected a couple of kits. The minute that I completed all the filling out of the form for the order form, and it was a special way she had me complete it so she would know that this was one of the people she had contacted, you know. As soon as that processed, I had an email and I had my chart. It was an electronic download and it was immediate. It was so quick. Now, I don't know if she was watching, you know, for my order because I had to email her a couple of questions, but I'm going to tell you that was fast. And I've already looked at the chart. The PDF is beautiful. It's clear. And here's what I thought was interesting, that I got a PDF of it in black and white and a PDF of it in color, all in the same file. So if I don't like a colored chart, there's a black and white chart there for me, or if I see the outlining better in black and white chart, it's there. I thought that was pretty neat. I don't know, that may be what you all get every time. I have downloaded a PDF before for a Biscornu pattern, and it was one copy. It was just the one, that was all you got. So anyway, I was pleased with that and pleasantly surprised. And I was blown away by how quick it was delivered. The other part arrived today. I wanted you to see how pretty it was packaged. I'm going to pause it and open it because I don't want the crinkling to drive you crazy. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let me show you what I got. This was free. There was a little postcard in here and it is a pattern, so I'll just hold it way back for a moment, but it is a Christmas ornament of 2 little birds in a birdhouse. Really cute. One of the kits that I got is a Riolis kit, and it is a Biscornu. I have fallen in love with Biscornus, and I had wanted a summery one, and so this is the pattern that I got. And this is how beautiful the threads are done. Right here. It is Zweigart fabric and it's anchor floss, just to let you know. So it is Ada, but it's Zweigart Ada. And then I got this little kit, and it's for a Christmas tree ornament. I'm thinking this could make a beautiful Biscornu as well, but it is shown on the front of it. It is shown as a Christmas ornament. So this is also Zweigart Ada, and it is anchor floss. And you can see how that's put together. And there are beads included. And then this was the real prize that I picked, and I guess you can probably tell why. My husband and son are going to Japan, and I thought this would be a wonderful piece to do in memory of their trip. I have another piece as well. I'm hoping to get to do 2 of them in the next year. Probably won't get them done at all before they get back from their trip, but it would make a great Christmas present for both of them to have one each. So anyway, this is that. This is a Riolis kit as well, and this has floss in the back. Now these are even weave. It's 14 count even weave, which means it's Aida, and it doesn't tell me whether it's Swikert or not, so it may not be. And it says that the floss is cotton. It's even weave cotton fabric for cross stitch, but it says it has woolen and acrylic yarn. So thinking, yeah, these are wool. Those are wool. This will be the first woolen floss I've used. So Gerald, if you've got any pointers, I know you had a Riolis kit for your owl that was wool. Let me know if you've got any advice for me. So those were the items that I chose to review for Olga and her wonderful site at mybobbin.com. I was telling someone about it at my stitching meetup recently that I would be doing that, and they went on the website immediately and just started looking through the different kits that were there. These are not kits I've seen anywhere else. These are kits from Russia, and the instructions are on the package. It has both Russian and English. I haven't opened one yet to see if the instructions inside are in both. I'm hoping they are, but if not, you know, I'll be able to figure it out from the pattern, I hope, and we'll see how that goes. But I was just really pleased. The package arrived in a very timely manner, considering how far it came. It was in a great shape. Everything was wrapped and sealed quite well. And so far, I have been very pleased. And I will break one of these open in the next couple of weeks, and I will begin stitching with them so that I can give you a review of what's inside and how well I think it's progressing. But in the meantime, please give that website a look if you haven't already, and go from there. Now, it is another day in Stephanie Kyne's birthday SAL, and I have had a very full day of activity before I could ever start stitching today. I think you'll see I had very little progress today compared to what I normally do when I have a whole day to stitch. I only had a couple hours today, so I did decide that I was going to work on this chart because the prompt today for Stephanie's birthday was something fancy. And so I chose Simply Love because it's all silk thread. And I got started on it. I have a picture here of where I started today, and I'll insert that for you. And then here's where I got to. So the new part today is just these swirls here, these 3, and this little motif right here. I just got that tiny bit done. But I did get to stitch, and I did get to participate for Stephanie's birthday. So Stephanie, that was fun. Tomorrow, Stephanie's prompt is something sparkly, and that can be fabric or metallic thread or beads. So my plan tomorrow, for what little time I may get to stitch, is to stitch on my Seaside Kingdom, because it's sparkly fabric. And I think that will meet the criteria. So I'll be working on that at least for an hour or so, if I can eke that out tomorrow. In the meantime, you guys, happy stitching, and I will talk with you in the next day or two. I'm glad you're here. This is Dina. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and thanks for visiting with me again. Today I want to give you what I've stitched on for two things. One is for Stephanie Kyne's birthday SAL, and today's prompt was to stitch on something that was sparkly, and so I chose to stitch on my Mirabilia Seaside Kingdom because the fabric is sparkly, as you can see. And I have a picture where I can show you where I was when I started on the piece today. And now I can show you where I got to. And I did that entire tower. I came around and did that little stair step down there. And I did this supposedly sort of like a wall, I think, that goes around the castle. Anyway, I will then, of course, come in here and fill all that in, just like I filled all this in. You can tell on here, on this pattern, it's not all filled in because a lot of the white background is left open. I'm having to stitch a lot more on here because I'm having to fill it in because it's blue, which brings me to my second thing I stitched this for, and I bet you're way ahead of me, right? On the School of Magical Stitches. So we were to stitch on a project that has gone off course or that we have had to change. This piece is charted for white fabric, and we've talked about it in the past where I'm gonna have to stitch inside all of this sandcastle that's over the blue fabric, or the blue fabric will show through. So I've had to change it. I've had to stitch it solid. In addition to that, I'm gonna have to change the blue in the clothing, because that blue, when I floss toss it against this background, doesn't go well. So I will have to be picking colors pretty soon, because when this little turret right here comes down, right in here, right here, is the little girl's head. The top of her head is right there. I'm so excited. So I have the middle of the castle with the little doorway right here, and then I have the two children that'll be here. So this, in case you're keeping track, will mean that that is the second of the 3 homeworks that I have been able to finish. So now, tomorrow is the final day of Stephanie Kyne's birthday SAL. And tomorrow we're supposed to stitch on a piece that we are close to finishing. The closest thing I have that's finished is A Kiss for Snowman. It's not far enough along yet to meet the criteria for homework. I think what I'm going to do is I will stitch on it for Stephanie Kyne's birthday SAL, and since I'm not 75% there yet, I will have to do double the stitches for penalty. And that means if I can get that done tomorrow, I will have done the homework on my first week of Magical Stitches, which is awesome. Hello again, everyone. Today is Saturday, April the 6th. This is Dina, and I'm here to give you a short update. I was able to finish all my Magical Stitches homework and decided to go to work on some extra credit. And there was also a Facebook group to stitch 24 hours. So I joined it, and I thought this is perfect because I will stitch, 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 and knock out one of these extra credits. I looked through my stash, and I had decided that I had a piece that met 3 of the criteria, all on one piece. I picked the Nativity. If you will recall, if you've watched my previous videos, a while back, I put this in timeout. I was having a really hard time with it. I wasn't happy with this piece. I couldn't figure out why. And I just kept having to force myself to work on it, and it was seriously making me not want to stitch. And so I put it in timeout till I could get a little distance. And then I thought, this is a perfect time to pull it out because I had to do 500 stitches in it for each of these criteria. And if I could even get one, putting 500 stitches in it was better than nothing. And here I was going to shoot for 3 of them. So I got started. I was about halfway through. I had stitched across here. I had skipped over her face and gone over here and I'd done all the way to the page break on everything except the border. And I was going to leave the border to last because of all the specialty stitches and beading and everything. But I thought, well, for this SAL, I'll go ahead and stitch on the border too. Well, I got started. And I stitched, and I stitched, and I got her head dress almost complete. And then I started on the 1/1 skin for her face. And I decided I would see how I liked it doing half stitch. Because it's such a small fabric count. And I didn't like the 1/1 on their faces for the angel or Joseph. I lost detail and I don't think they show very well. So I'll show you where I got to before I stopped. You can see I did a lot of her headdress. I got her hair in and part of her face. And I had to frog this piece right here. Was frogging this out because I got a little knot in it or something. Anyway, I got so frustrated with it. And I sat back and I looked at it really hard. I don't like it. I don't like my stitches. You see how clumpy it looks? They're 1/1 on this tiny, tiny fabric, full crosses. These faces are not pretty. I don't like them. They didn't turn out well. So I went back and I looked at the pattern. And the faces in the pattern are much better than how they look here. So I thought about it and thought about it, and I made a decision. I'm not stitching this. I'm not happy with it on this fabric. This is too small a count. I'm losing all the detail. This has a ton of fractional stitches and a ton of blends. And if I'm gonna work through those fractional stitches and blends to do this whole piece, I want them to show. I want them to be recognizable. I want them to be pretty. So this is going away forever. This one I'm abandoning. It's the first time I've done that, I think, since I've started FlossTube. I've only done it one other time in my life. So I hate that I put all this work into it. I got half of it done as far as the image in the middle. But the thought of having to finish it on this fabric, no. So this is officially going away, permanently going away. I'm not gonna frog it out. I'm just gonna cut it off. And I may or may not use this linen for something else. It could be beautiful for something else. I have a good bit of it left. I think if I cut that piece off, I'll have enough to do something with. So I'm gonna find some 28 count fabric in my stash that's large enough for it. I'm gonna leave it kitted up. And then down the road, when I can face it again, I'll restart it. So that's a decision made. So instead, I decided, since I was doing a marathon stitch, that I would go ahead and start one of the kits that I got from the Russian company that asked me to evaluate their products and their service. And I decided to start that. So I pulled out this Riolis kit. It is a Biscornu, and I enjoy Biscornus now that I've discovered them. And I did start on it last night. This is the fabric that came in the kit. I wanted to use it because I am evaluating it, and I just wanted to see how I liked it. Now, I got this piece done and a little bit of the green done last night this morning, before I decided I needed a nap. And so I stitched till about 2 a.m. this morning through the 24 hours. We're still going. It's till 4 o'clock today, and right now it's about noon. So I got up this morning. I slept for about 6 hours, and then I got up this morning and I stitched on this a little bit. I have kitted up my Mania project, so I'll be sharing that with you probably in my next video. And I completely changed my mind about what I was going to start on. I kept some of it. I substituted some of it, and then I kitted up everything that I finally decided on. So I did that last night too when I needed a break. So today I got up this morning and I stitched the rest of that green this morning, and then I stopped and showered and got dressed for the day just to give myself another break. And now I'm getting back to stitching. So I'll check in with you later. Bye. Good evening, everyone. This is Sunday evening. It is the 7th of April, and I'm here to share with you my latest finish. It's actually a finish and a fully finish at the same time. I recently showed you that I stitched this side of a Biscornu, and I counted that as a small finish from Stitch from Stash. And then I decided to do this side of the Biscornu. However, I felt like it was too busy to put this on one side and this on one side. I almost felt like that it really was two in here. So I decided to take one section of this second Biscornu, one flower with the greenery and everything, and the two little buds there, and use that on the back of mine. And I've decided to give it as a gift, so I'm going to cover up the name, and I'll just leave my name showing in this year because I'm going to gift it this year. But this is what the back of it looks like. That pretty red flower and the flower buds. And then this is the front of the Biscornu. This is how it looks. It's so precious. I really think it turned out well. Very happy with it. Love the center beads. I used it for both sides. Rather than using it for two of them, I used it on both sides of the Biscornu. So that is done. That is a gift I have stitched now, and when I gift it, I'll tell you about it. I used a little brochure I have on alphabets to chart my initials and the date and the information that I wanted to put on the back of the Biscornu. I just used graph paper and worked at it that way. Okay, so that kit for now is complete. I still have all this floss left, which tickles me because, like I said, I think I'm going to make that second one as a separate Biscornu down the road. So I have this to put back in my stash to use later on. And I think I have plenty of supplies to make another one. So that turned out really well. Well, it is the day after the 24-hour stitching marathon that I did 18 hours of. And I was able to get up and go this morning and do the things that I was supposed to do today. So that turned out okay, but I'll probably hit the bed a little early tonight. I'm feeling it just a touch. I am looking forward to getting up in the morning and finding out what the homework is for Magical Stitches. And once I decide what I'm going to do for that homework, I'll come back and let you know. And then I'll be happy to share with you when I hit my homework goals as to let you know what I've been able to stitch on. This is difficult for me. I normally plan out a month in advance what I'm going to stitch on. I had already done that for this month. And then when I joined the School of Magical Stitches, I realized you can't stick with that plan. You don't know what you're going to have to do for homework. So I have to wait till in the morning, and then I can plan my week based on what the homework assignments are. Then I can let you know. It's a little different for me. But either way, it'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll check back in with you later in the week and let you know how my plans have gone. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, this is Dina again, and today is Tuesday, April 9th. And today I have completed my first homework assignment for this week through the School of Magical Stitches and Literature. And I'm going to show you my progress on what I worked on today. Our homework this week is, at first glance, seems extremely easy. It's 500 stitches each on 2 of your whips that are fighting for attention. Well, all my whips are fighting for attention. They all want me to stitch on them, and I want to stitch on all of them. I did decide to do this one first, though, Witchy, Washy. I figured the stitching on it is very clean and easy, and it would be a good one to try to hit my 500 stitches with, and I did. I hit 575 before I took a picture of it to post it. But then I wasn't quite at a good stopping point. So I've got my picture to post at 575, but I went on stitching again. Didn't count them after that. But anyway, this is what it's supposed to look like. And I decided to work on this side, to put that in my Q-snap. And I had started in the middle, and I had the little bloomers, the socks, the bra, and the hat done, and I had some of the clothesline done up to where the tree is done. So let me show you where I got to today. So I concentrated on this side, and I finished up that clothesline. I did the tree and the stars and the word that's on this half. And I did the tree and the broom down to where I could comfortably stitch in my Q-snap. But I think it's coming along beautifully. I think it's a great fun stitch. I'm enjoying it. I will tell you this, I didn't have the color for the trees. The color for the trees was sable from Sampler Threads, the Gentle Art Sampler Threads, and I didn't have sable. And I've been using DMC, so I went to pull the DMC 3021, and it's in another project. I didn't want to have to go look for it. So I said, okay, I'm just going to pull out whatever I want to. So I did. And instead, I pulled out my Weeks Dye Works Molasses. So I'll show you what that looks like. I think it's a beautiful color. And it's got a bit of variegation in it as well. So that's what I used for the tree. Wheat Style Works molasses. I had it in my stash, and rather than go and buy one color of DMC, I just went ahead and put that in here. I felt like it would do just fine, and went on stitching. This has been so much fun. Now I have the privilege of picking another whip to work on for the next 500 stitches. And I haven't decided what that's going to be yet. So it'll be a surprise for you and me when I come back and show you that. In the meantime, I will let you get back to your stitching, and I'll come back for another update soon. Okay, here's the video of what this looks like. I'm going to try to get a little closer and share with you. You can't see the stitching that I did here. I did a straight stitch just down each of these grooves. I didn't go across, I just went straight down. And on the edges, as you can see here, I just turned under both the fabric on both sides, and I just stitched in that area there so that it would you know, give me a nice thick backing. And I like the fact that it's the same color because it doesn't detract from the stitching on the front. I originally bought a plain even fabric that was in this dark green that's in my pieces, in the stitching, almost an olive color, and I just felt like it would show through the fabric. I laid this on top of it, and it really did show through. But this is, I'll see if you can see how thick it looks now, because this is such a plush back on it, but it's so soft, where the front is so scratchy because it's wool. But the front is where the pretty is, and that's what you can lay out where you can see it. And when you do, you'll have this beautiful soft backing. And I don't think that that little seam running through there detracts much from it at all. And that's going to be close next to you anyway. So that's how I finished my Afghan. I promised to show you that. You can see I just finished it today. There's the sewing machine. I brought it out here because the table was a wonderful support to put that heavy Afghan on as I was stitching. I will tell you, I started in the middle and worked my way out. So I stitched down, you know, one seam in the middle, and then I went over one, and then one, and one in the end. And then I came back to the middle, and I went over this way, because that pushed any of the extra fabric here out to the edge so that I could even it up when I got there. And before I started stitching these together, I did wash this backing fabric and dried it, because it went ahead and pre-shrunk it, and it got some of the fuzz off of it. But when you cut it, it just, you know, the fuzz just flies everywhere. But I do like it, and I think it's going to be a fun Afghan for my bedroom. And now I can start planning, stitching all of these again for the picture that I'll frame and put above it. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina, and today is the 11th of April. It is a Thursday night, and I am here to give you an update report. A couple of things today. I have finished my homework for Magical Stitches this week. So you saw the first one, which was my Witchy Washy. And my second one is my May block for my year of celebrations. Now, this time for the School of Magical Stitches homework, we had to do 500 stitches on 2 whips that were screaming for our attention or fighting for our attentions. And we had to explain why they were fighting for our attention. So just to let you know, Witchy Washy was really upset with me because here I am stitching for the School of Magical Stitches, and I hadn't even chosen that whip, of all things, the Witch's Laundry. Anyway, it was pretty upset with me and had been screaming at me because it's been a month since I even touched it. And so I had to get that one quiet. So we had to do 500 stitches on it, and I did 575 before she would quieten down. Anyway, as soon as I got her quiet though, I started hearing May, because May was telling me, here you are stitching for the School of Magical Stitches, where everything is, you know, going to be magical and possibly dark arts, and you know, we've worked on things because of boggarts and you know, dementors and things. And May said, how frequently are you going to have a homework assignment where you're going to be able to work on something as cute as I am with a basket full of flowers and butterflies? You better do me while you can. And she wouldn't quit. So I had to stitch her, and I had to stitch her completely done before she would be quiet. Oh, these are fun. It's fun to be creative and come up with stories to go with what you're doing. But that truly was my thought process, was I better get this one done while I can, because I'll need her before I know it for my little display that I have on my mantle. And so I might as well get her done while I can. Anyway, I did more than the required 500 stitches on her for sure, because I did 1,263, which was the whole piece. So I just thought you'd get a kick out of that. That's kind of how it works, and I am loving it. But I have something wonderful to share with you. Actually, I'm still so grateful, and I just want to share this, and I want to thank her publicly. I didn't get a permission to use her name, so I'll just call her Elaine. I won't tell you her last name, but I had shown my first attempt at stitching a blanket, crocheting a blanket for the group at church, and I have tried two. I think I may have shown you the second one, but I got an entire skein of yarn stitched, and I had stitch markers that I had put on there, and I thought I was doing great. And then I looked at it, and it had kind of gotten one stitch off or something. It's not as bad as the first one by any means, but I was still not happy with it. And it's also, I don't like the yarn. It feels acrylic. It feels almost plasticky in my hands when I'm stitching on it, and after a while it looks like it's getting fuzzy. I don't know, I don't like it. So I was just about ready to quit when Elaine sent me a comment on my episode that I showed that blanket in, and she said, I think you're trying to make a blanket in the hardest way possible. To stitch straight rows across and keep them even apparently is very difficult for crocheters, even that are experienced. I didn't know this because I don't know any better. So to her credit, she contacted me and she said, I like to do a pattern with herself, but also when she teaches beginners, she has a pattern that starts in a circle, and then you just do a granny square, and then as you go around, you just keep adding a new row all the way around. So your square starts small and just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So she contacted me and said she would be happy to teach me how to do that if we could work out something where I could see what she was doing. So I have done virtual stitching with people before, and I do it through Facebook Messenger because to me that's the easiest way to do it. And so she and I befriended each other on Facebook, and we set a date. And Elaine, thank you. She took an hour and a half with me and taught me how to do it and crocheted it with me. Her doing it where I could see what she was doing. She would do the, make each stitch slowly where I could watch her and see, and then I would do it and she'd watch me, and then we did a check along the way, and she told me how to catch errors, and I caught one, and I was so proud of myself that I actually could see something that wasn't perfect because of what she told me to look for, and I was able to take out just a little bit where I'd gone wrong, and we corrected it right away. And so I want to show you the beginning of my blanket, and then hopefully I can bring it back when I'm finished and share it with you. So this is the beginning of my baby blanket. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm pretty stoked about it. And now that I've finished my homework for this week in Magical Stitches, I'm going to take a break from cross stitching for a little bit this evening, and I'm going to work a little more on this blanket. So hopefully you get to see it soon. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this video for now, and even though it's a little bit early, I usually stop it around the 15th, but I want to go ahead and stop this one today, and then that way I can go ahead and put it up, because it has a lot of information in it about the School of Magical Stitches homework, and it's going to be weeks past by the time you see it if I don't. I hope you're having a great month of April. I am. But in the meantime, before I have my next video, we will have celebrated Easter. So for those of you who do celebrate, happy Easter to you. I hope you're having great times with your family and friends. And I hope in particular that you're having great fun stitching. And thank you for watching my stitching updates, and I hope you stitch when you're watching, and I'd love to hear from you, what you're working on, what you do while you're watching your videos, and I just thank you for spending time with me. Happy Easter. Bye, everybody.